Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast for UFC Mexico, Moreno versus Erceg. I'm Sniper, that's Monk. It's been a couple weeks between a vacation, some sickness, still cranking out plenty of content in the DFS Army Discord. Make sure you check the links in the YouTube video. Get in there. Plenty of money to be made. I had a pretty good week last week, despite just a weird overall card. Pretty solid week, though. The notes, and this time we'll go back with the podcast. Monk, what have you been doing the last few weeks? All is good?
All is good. I'm glad you had a good trip. It does come with consequences, putting yourself on a ship, but it's all worth it in the end, right?
I will keep doing it. I'm
exactly.
Sick. I've been on a bunch of cruises, my preferred vacation. I think about half of them. I come home and I'm down for at least a few days.
Yeah, but well, it is worth it. So
airport, cruise ship, same shit.
Yeah, exactly. Last week definitely started off rough. I think I picked incorrectly the first three fights, possibly for the first five, but then we flipped it. I think the only one I lost after that was Kevin Holland, and that was a close one, but man, Gunnar was pretty much out. But that was quite the main event. And
nailed the Holland one.
Card. Nice. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, the Holland nailed the main. The big, you know what cost me a pretty I think I cashed all my single entries. I cashed the 200, the 100. I cashed a bunch of stuff, and I could have done even better. The decision that went, I started to talk, and now I don't remember. So I'm going to pull it up real quick. Let's see. Yep, finished 17th in the 200, and Parkin. I thought I deserved that decision.
He was minus 800, I heard, going into the third round is what they put on TV.
No, at the end, yeah. And at the end, it was minus 810. I thought I got that one. So, and I did tell everybody who listened in Discord, I was all about Alexia and locking the nuts there. I'm like, that was the easiest. It was like, what do you?
And she was so easy.
Everybody was giving me shit. Like, what do you mean your kill shot's going to be 8,700 and 25% out? I'm like, why are we? You don't need to overthink things. A kill shot is an under-owned play who's going to win you a GPP. She was on the nuts. She wasn't 40% owned.
Yeah, which I don't understand how she wasn't. I don't
exactly.
Get it.
So, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, we've developed some of these kill shot rules in Discord and podcasts, other hosts. And I'm like, listen, let's not overcomplicate it. How do you win a GPP? Can't be chalk. Put out a winner.
Right.
Got to be in the optimal. So, I was happy with that one. And shout out to Molly. It's with her skill set, fantastic MMA UFC career.
That's
Has
true.
Made money, good life, entertaining. I'm not going to take that away from her. Good on her. Into the sunset.
She's still very young.
Yeah. She got a lot of life, now a lot of money, that business in Liverpool.
Yep.
Good for her. All right. Enough chit chat about last week. Let's talk about UFC Mexico. This fight is where are they in Mexico, by the way? I meant to look
Mexico
this up.
City.
They are in Mexico City.
So elevation is the magic word.
Sure.
Hope you're not playing a drinking game.
Yep. Elevation and 13 fights. I think most of them with a Mexican fighter or some Mexican heritage.
Yeah, so this is your reminder that it's Rafa Garcia. It's Ronaldo Rodriguez. Hit those R's. Rosas Jr.
I can't. Fuck the R's in Portuguese, Spanish. I can't do it. Fucking give me Magomed Sharipov before you give me a Portuguese name. I can't do it. So we're going to tackle all 13 fights on this card, break it down with some DraftKings strategy, give out a kill shot at the end. First, though, please give us a like, share with your friends wherever you're watching. Get in the DFS Army Discord. Even more content in there. Access to the optimizer, which we call the domination station. Come and check it out. And Monk, with that being said, I'm sure this is a thing I'm going to do every week. Top of the card, bottom of the card. Your call, sir.
Well, we got one more before the pay-per-view. I'm a sucker for starting at the bottom.
All right.
I just am.
Those big guys like it on bottom.
Yeah, that's right. Let's work.
Let's go Austin Hubbard, Markel Medeiros. Medeiros is the favorite at minus 186. Comeback on Hubbard is plus 161. I'm going to quickly flash my sheet and try and move that away because that's where I have my salaries. Oh, I didn't just stay on my screen yet, so that's good. I had the wrong thing up. So let's there we go. Now we are looking at Hubbard and Medeiros. Hubbard at plus 161, Medeiros minus 186. DraftKings salaries here. Medeiros is 8,700. Hubbard is 7,500. Your fight goes to decision prop. Healthy minus 250. Expecting to need the judges on this one. Monk, I was out last week, so you get the honor of going first. What you got?
Overall, I went with Markel Medeiros here. He's got the much smaller sample size. Obviously, he's got a Dana White Contender Series fight, and then 15 minutes with Landon Quinones. 0 for 5 takedowns. Still got 4 minutes of control time, but just landed 4 strikes a minute. Ended up scoring like 60 some points or 64 in his in that win. So not very impressive there. Austin Hubbard, while he does have decent numbers overall, he just makes too many mistakes, man. I don't know if I can back. He's just a little too expensive. If he was like 7,200, I'd be able to put him in many more lineups. Was this the fight that was scheduled a couple of weeks ago? And
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I don't know. I'm siding with Medeiros here. 4 strikes a minute in the first, ends with 5.4. He's got a ton of control time. That's kind of his thing. Half a minute in the first, doubles that in the second, and then another 30% on top of that in the third. So almost 2 minutes of control time in that third round that he had. So I'm interested to see what the defense looks like, because while Hubbard does have some good fundamentals, it's the rest of them that I'm kind of worried about. And he just doesn't finish fights well. He just doesn't end fights well. I mean, what is he? 3 losses in his last 4, and the 2 last wins he beat. The last 3 were Figlak, Dakota Bush, and Max Roshkoff. So not good names on Austin Hubbard's win list. So give me Medeiros, probably by decision. If he doesn't finish him, this score is not going to be good for DraftKings. So I want to see what Medeiros can put up first, and I hope it's more than 64, but I'm going to kind of fade this one a little bit.
Reminder that Austin Hubbard's got non-UFC wins here. This gap between 2021 and 2023. He was cut after the Vince Pichel loss. Gets in that series, I believe, Contender Series where they had veterans smash a bunch of rookies, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And came back. So agree with you. The thing is, Medeiros, I mean, does he really looked good in winning his Landon Quinones and then his Contender Series win?
No.
It's looked all right. Hubbard's tough, durable. Both guys can kind of do a little bit of everything. Both can grapple. Both can strike a little. To me, this is actually pretty simple from a DFS perspective. And really, honestly, I think the line's a little wide. I think it should be a little bit tighter. I'm going to lean towards Hubbard, and I think he's the only one who's DraftKings relevant. I don't think Medeiros can put up enough points to end up on the optimal lineup. Hubbard, underdog, can win, can grapple for a win. Pretty tough veteran. He's going to be up there in terms of my builds. I think he's cash game viable. I think it's a super close fight, and with the experience, and a little bit more volume, I'm actually going to side with Austin Hubbard here in terms of an underdog pick. I think three dogs I'm picking out of 14, and I'm picking a couple of 6K dogs, I believe. Let's see. How many did I pick? Just real quick. Let's see if I can. Oh no. Okay. So I picked one 6K dog. And one that is low 7K that the line that I don't understand. I just don't. I messaged you about it earlier. I don't get it, but more to talk about there. That being said, in terms of a card with with a few viable underdogs, Hubbard is strongly in that camp and is a cash viable dog as well. All right, let's move on out and let's talk Jamal Emmers, Gabriel Miranda. Why is the first fight I got to do back an Emmers fight where he's minus 330? The comeback on Miranda's plus 265. Yippee. Golly. Jamal Emmers is 9,100. Miranda is 7,100. Your fight ends inside the distance prop is minus 210. And that is what is just infuriating me, because let's do the quick wiki capping here. If you're watching on screen, Jamal Emmers typically does not score well. Yes, he's got the win over Dennis Bazookia. But other than that, he's losing by heel hook. He's got a split against Jack Jenkins. He got knocked out by Nate Landwehr. Decision against Giga. Like, he doesn't typically score great. His opponents can score good. And Gabriel Miranda is 1-2 with his win being against Shane Young. And I mean, it's tough competition. Morgan Charrier, I know he lost, but it's a tough out. And Benoit Saint-Denis. And Shane Young is garbage. So we really don't know a lot. We really don't know what Gabriel Miranda is. He's aggressive. He can be finished. He's the reason this fight has got a high inside the distance prop. And he's the reason why I kind of want to hurt myself right now, because do I really have to play Jamal Emmers at this price tag? I super don't want to. So I think I'm actually going to be a little bit underweight to the fight. Not incredibly. I've not liked what I've seen from Miranda on film, and Emmers is so hit or miss. I'm going to side with Emmers, and I'm going to play some of him. But based on the inside the distance prop, and I'm kind of extrapolating what the ownership is going to be, and I'll look at our own resources when they come out. I've mentioned it many times. I don't do that because it's not my strength. I'm probably going to try to be a little bit under Jamal Emmers. Like there's other guys, we'll talk about it more, but I would rather play Raul Rosas. Yes, Joe Pfeiffer. We'll argue about that later. I'd rather play Rafa Garcia and Atiba Gautier. Like I'd rather play everybody above him, pretty much, with one exception. So I can't. Sure, I'll pick Jamal Emmers, but I'm going to probably take a slightly risky stand and be under on this fight. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the other side. By the way, for anyone watching, one of our Wi-Fi's is trying to take a shit, and I don't know which one. It could be mine. It was just hailing on me on the way home. So, but I think we're good now. Just wanted to, in case that happens. I like Jamal Emmers here, man. Miranda is basically extremely one-dimensional. I mean, I know he's fought very good competition, but at the same time, his opponents also, while being big names, have more than one or two UFC losses apiece. So, I mean, the strength of schedule is good by name value, but not the best on when you get into the numbers. And he's, like I said, extremely one-dimensional, and he has shown zero defense, like no defense at all. Almost 5 strikes a minute allowed in the first, and he only had less than a minute in the second. So, but however long that lasted, it was enough for 14 strikes per minute. So I like Jamal Emmers. He's both guys with a losing record, but Emmers boasts like a 91% takedown defense. It's really, really good. His control defense rather is also fantastic. In fact, those are the two best statistical defensive categories that Jamal Emmers has. It's his striking defense that's really the problem. And is obviously fight IQ, but I don't have, when he puts himself into a heel hook or whatever against Sabatini, that's about as good as what's her name, Pooja, putting herself into an armbar, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I like Jamal Emmers here. Miranda's extremely one-dimensional. Obviously, you play him in GPPs for the submission, first round submission upside, but give me Emmers. I think he's perfectly fine in all aspects, cash included, and I think he has the potential to score well. He did put up like 100 and I don't even know what. Let me get there. 130 against Dennis. Well, that was a first minute knockout that was very unexpected. But even against Ashkabov, he didn't score the best, but he ended up making the optimal lineup anyways as an underdog. So he is optimal in both of his last 2 wins. And I think he's much better than Gabriel Miranda overall. So as long as he doesn't get subbed, I think he's got a good chance at a finish too.
Yeah, I was on the Emmer side, just not. I'll be on.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
All right, let's move on and let's talk about Rafa Garcia and Vince from Hell Pichel. Still one of my favorite nicknames. Mm-hmm. Garcia is minus 500. Pichel's in that plus 375 range. Your fight goes to decision minus 285, but I don't care. I still want to play Rafa Garcia. We'll talk about why in a second. First, I'll tell you the salaries. Rafa Garcia is very expensive at 9,500. Vince Pichel is at 6,700. Monk, you are first for this one.
I haven't decided yet, but I might like Rafa Garcia better than the guy that's priced above him. And it's because Vince Pichel gets taken down constantly. He gets out-controlled constantly. It does worry me that Rafa did get KO'd by Grant Dawson, but that's Grant Dawson and Vince Pichel fight 2 completely different styles. Like Grant Dawson set up that KO with his style. Vince Pichel is mainly a striker. I mean, he does attempt takedowns at almost every. That's not true. Not mainly a striker, but he does attempt takedowns at almost every fight. But he's also getting taken down more often than he's taking down.
Yep.
He's getting out controlled in every fight, and the accuracy is not the best for Vince Pichel over time. 45, less than 50% in every single round. The striking is 3 strikes a minute in the first. He never clears 4. I mean, we get close in the 3rd round, but we never get there. His takedowns are decent. They improve every round. Same with the control time. But is he going to want to do that or be able to do that against Rafa Garcia? I don't think so. I like Rafa here, and by quite a large margin. In fact, if this goes to decision, we're looking at possibly several rinse and repeat takedowns, because Vince, while he does get taken down and out-controlled, he doesn't. He gets up a lot. He doesn't stay on the ground for an extended amount of time in most cases. So we could see rinse and repeat takedowns, lots of control time, and I like Rafa Garcia in all formats.
Pretty much agreed. Pretty high on Rafa, especially in terms of cash games. When you're relying on the takedowns, it could be a little hard for GPPs, and there's some big hitters around him. But I am the takedowns are just an issue. Rafa can do it. It's stylistically should be a great matchup for him. Vince Pichel is aging veteran. Rafa's the more athletic at this point in his career. Just all signs for me point to Rafa Garcia unless he eats something stupid. So I won't reiterate too much of what Monk said. I like Rafa in all formats, and I will be under to, if not fading, Vince from hell, Pichel. Right, let's move on and let's talk Lupi Godinez, who I don't know why that's Canada. Is that right? Did she like fight out of like Edmonton or something?
I think so.
That's a weird one.
Pretty sure.
Lupi Godinez and Julia Pilastri. Godinez is minus 240. Comeback on Pilastri is plus 200. DraftKings salaries here. Lupi is 8,800. Pilastri is 7,400. Fight goes to decision prop is minus 550. Similar to the last fight, despite that number, I'm still about this one. And I'm on Lupi Godinez again. She should be able to grapple. She's live for a big score. There's plenty of rinse and repeat. I won't go crazy. I like the last one a little more. And honestly, it's because I've seen Lupi Godinez come out with some dumbass game plans before. I don't trust anything she's going to fucking do. So in theory, she should be able to take down Pilastri. In theory, she should have a really good scoring upside. I don't fully trust it. That is the side I'm on. I like enough dogs where I don't need to mess around with Pilastri. I don't think she wins anyway. So I'll be under there as well. But I do like Godinez and somewhat ignoring the goes to decision prop at minus 550 because she's going to grapple. Monk, how about for you?
And yeah, I know I agreed with the Canada thing. I swear I saw that on Tapology. It has a Mexico flag now, but I swear I saw that before too. But it says she's fighting out of Mexico now. But yeah, I agree. Godinez, what do we always say about her? She should and will score very well if she wrestles, which, you know, was a huge thing for her at the beginning of the career. 8 against Carnelosi. I mean, we had 12 against Lukbunmi, 15 against Carolina, excuse me. And then it's 3, 2, 3, 1, 5, 0, 0, 3. It's just, and I know that sometimes that's a function of who she's fighting, like Verna, like Mackenzie Dern, who looked very, very good in their last fight, kind of surprisingly. But I think she rebounds.
She always looks good. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's true. Poor choice of words there. Sorry, Mackenzie. But yeah, Lupi, she should wrestle. She should get takedown control time, and she should basically smash Julia Pilastri. And if she doesn't, she is known for not giving up basically any points when she loses. I believe it's like 71.7 average is what her opponents score when she loses. So I like Lupi Godinez here. She's not too expensive for me, and please just wrestle. I know I say this every time, hoping she'll hear me or something, but please wrestle. Please show me the control time, and that's just going to rack up points. That's when she scores very well. She's a decent striker statistically, but that's not like her bread and butter. So hopefully she can mix it up properly, and we get a really good performance out of Lupi Godinez.
All right, let's go ahead and let's now talk Christian Rodriguez, who I have some things to say about, but I'll get through the intro first. To Melquizael Costa. Christian Rodriguez, minus 150-ish. Comeback on Costa is about plus 130. DraftKings salaries here. Rodriguez is 8,400. Costa is 7,800. Fight goes to decision is minus 180. And Monk, have you ever seen somebody so blatantly just purposely miss weight and try and be a weight bully and a cheating motherfucker? Because I present to you Christian Rodriguez.
Maybe Nurgajai in recent memory. Did he even try to cut weight? But yeah.
But here's the thing. That was once.
Rodriguez has 3 weight misses, and that means the fight actually happened. So I'm sure he has more that have canceled fights possibly, but he has 3 fights for sure that have taken place in which he missed weight.
And it's always some bullshit excuse. It's the same thing, and it's always, and if I remember right, I want to pull it up right now because I don't want to misspeak. He's always, it's not like 3 in a row, right? The one against Raul Rosas Jr. was clearly this guy's going to try and wrestle me, and I know he's not going to pull out of this pay-per-view spot. I'm going to go ahead and just and miss weight. The Cameron Simon one, it's
That was
almost
that was 4 pounds.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is it was almost it was 4 pounds.
This dude
So,
missed weight for his Dana White Contender Series fight, bro.
What do you weigh in on that one? He weighed in
138.
138. Yep. So he's a weight bully. He just sorry, it just is what it is. So he gets Melquizael Costa here. You're first, Monk.
He's a weight bully. He's fought successfully made weight successfully, obviously 3 times at featherweight since the UFC, I assume, was like, if you don't do this, you're not going to fight here. So he is doing it. I know where you're going with this, but I'm going to pick Christian Rodriguez, but Melky Costa is the only side I'm probably going to play in DraftKings that's with significance. I mean, I'll have some Rodriguez in case Costa just absolutely, gets exhausted after like 7 minutes. Which is definitely possible. But Christian Rodriguez, outside of the Erosa fight, I mean, he doesn't throw much volume in rounds 1 or 2. There's not many takedowns. It's the control time in round 2, especially where he banks over 1 minute. But then in round 3, he finally turns up the volume, 5 strikes a minute, 2/3 of a takedown per third round at 1.5 control times. That's over 30 minutes of round 3s. So obviously his best round by far, and his best round defensively as well. He allows not much, but 3 strikes a minute in the first, over 1.5 takedowns, and over 2.5 minutes of control time. So expect Melky Costa to do a lot in the first round, likely get exhausted if he doesn't get Rodriguez out of there, which I don't think he will, and then watch for Rodriguez to take over halfway through the second and definitely in the third round, probably winning a very low scoring decision. So give me Rodriguez for that decision, but in DraftKings, I'll have some, but I mean, just in case Costa really gets exhausted, but Christian does not score well when he wins.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree in that. I'll just go the other side of the pick, though. I think Melky can mix it up better than most of Rodriguez's last opponents. He can grapple and he can strike. I think he's a little more dangerous. I don't think he's going to get caught in kind of that. I think he's going to be able to maintain more of the forward pressure. It may not be a super fast-paced, exciting fight. Did I do the fight goes to decision prop here? I don't remember. Fight goes to decision is -180. Don't have a ton of interest in DFS, but because cost is cheaper and I do think he wins and he's more likely to find a finish, in my opinion, and score better, the only side I'm really interested in, I'll take Melky Costa. And frankly, part of it is the reasons we mentioned. I'm just rooting against Christian Rodriguez. Fuck that guy. So now we got Jose Daniel Medina and Atiba Abega Gautier. Medina, big old dog at +325. Gautier is -425. Fight ends inside the distance, -205. DraftKings salaries for this one. Atiba is the most expensive fighter on the card at 9,600. Medina 6,600. I don't love the price here. I really don't. Good inside the distance number. I'll have some exposure. The price is a bit of a turnoff, especially. We're going to do it again in a minute. I'll take an even stronger stand. Dana White Contender Series debutants as big favorites should scare the fuck out of you at this point. We see it time and time again. This is the case, though. I've seen Jose Daniel Medina, and I don't think he's very good. So I'm going to take Atiba. I think he's more likely to find a finish. I'll mix him in a little bit. I think Rafa Garcia is safer for cash games. This is a fine GPP option, especially because the pay-ups aren't particularly great. He's a little too expensive for me to want to make a core play, but he's decided preferred by far. Just the short technical analysis is he looks like an explosive prospect, and Jose Daniel Medina looks bad. Like I don't know how else to put it. He doesn't look good at all. If you do the wiki capping thing real quick, it's going to get real ugly real quick here. Well, at least he's been to the judges twice, but when you get taken down 5 times by Zachary Reese, red flags need to be popping up everywhere in everybody's head. So give me Atiba. How about for you, Monk?
I agree. And if Atiba has even one takedown on his fight tape, then get him in all your lineups. Because, yeah, Medina has allowed, it's like 11 of what is that, 11 of 16 takedowns in 2 fights between Dana White Contender Series and his debut. So yeah, he's not only bad, but he is fundamentally bad, offensively, defensively, from every aspect.
I like how you have to no, he's not just bad, guys. He's fundamentally
he's
bad.
real bad. So, but like you said, we cannot trust these debutants, especially this dude has 7 pro fights and he's just knocking everyone out. So we cannot trust any of his numbers. Yes, you're playing him in GPPs, but you're not going crazy because he's so expensive and because of the level of pro fights that I just mentioned. But he's extremely explosive, like you said, should find an early finish. But if he doesn't, like you said, Medina is gone to the distance twice in UFC promotions. So if he gets out of the second round with Gauthier, like what is this fight going to look like at 9,600 for Gauthier? So yeah, both sides on GPPs, kind of minimal amount of Medina, but yeah, give me Gauthier for the pick as well.
All right, let's move on, see if we can find a better fight to talk about. Oh, you get to go first in this one. Edgar Chairez, CJ Vergara. Chairez, minus 270. That sounds right. Vergara, plus 220. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 120, 50-50 for a finish in this fight. Your DraftKings salaries. Chairez, 9,000 for Edgar Chairez. CJ Vergara, 7,200. Mug, take it away first.
Yeah, this is probably a popular thing, but I'm on CJ Vergara this week.
It better be popular.
The stats for Chairez, I mean, he's 1-3 in the UFC. Like the only guy he's beat is Daniel Lacerda. Yes, he has. He's
in his second try.
What's that? Yeah, second try. That's true. 4.5 strikes per minute in the first round, but no takedowns and hardly any control time. And he allows basically 4 plus takedowns plus a minute and a half of getting controlled. Round 2, it drops to 3. Round 3, it drops to 2.4 strikes a minute. We have no takedowns and no control basically at all to speak of. There is power in the first round, so he does have a knockdown there. But the defense, guys, I mean, like I said, 4.2 in the first. He allows 7.2 strikes per minute in the second round, and he's been through 15 minutes of second rounds. And then 4.6 in the third. He's allowing takedowns. This dude gets controlled 2.7 minutes out of every 5 in the second round and 2.4 in the third round. Like, if CJ Vergara can just get past the first round, he's got decent enough numbers, especially he's the opposite of Chairez. He starts slow, 3.5 in the first, 6.3 strikes landed per minute in the second round, and just under 6 in the third. So he's the guy that's going to take over late. He's the guy that's demonstrating control time in the second and third round. And Edgar Chairez, man, I don't know. If he doesn't get it done in the first, I really don't see how he's going to beat CJ Vergara, but extremely low-level fight. The salaries are perfect here. I love CJ at 7,200, and Edgar is strictly a GPP play. Probably not too much on my end or your end, it sounds like, because he's 9K. But yeah, I think this is way too wide. Vergara looked like shit in his last one, but give me Vergara to get it done against the inexperienced looking Chairez.
I don't understand the line. Like, I know Vergara doesn't look great. We'll get there in a second, but I mean, okay, I know I've done it a few times, and it's nice to have on screen, and wiki capping isn't everything, but just real quick, Lacerda's 1-3 in the UFC.
I mean, he's losing the good guys.
But yeah, he's lost to Van, Tyra, Clayton Carpenter. Okay, but he hasn't looked particularly good in any of those fights.
Outside of the knockdown against Tyra, and then he got dominated.
Yeah. CJ Vergara, by the way, losing to Ramazan Temirov, Asu Almabayev. Also has a win over Lacerda, beat Benicio Salvador, lost to Tatsuro Taira. You can't hold that against him. The Ode Osborne one is probably the worst loss on his resume. And Ode is one of those guys who's athletic, and I think on any day could show up. Regardless, is he a great fighter? No, but his resume to me looks better than Chairez on paper. The problem is Vergara can fight going backwards and not give off a great look, whereas Chairez is kind of that Mexican warrior type of fighter you like to watch fight. I don't think he's particularly technical that way. I think Vergara's faster. I think he's better on the feet. Could Chairez grapple him? Maybe Chairez can grapple him, but I really don't think that's his strength. I think that's what Chairez would have to do. I think this line is way too wide. I would slightly favor Vergara. I mean, you want to put in the fight in Mexico, okay, maybe, but regardless, way too wide for all those reasons. I think Vergara is slicker on the feet. It's going to be hard to catch. I don't think he's a lock for the optimal. I know it's 50-50 to end in decision, but I think there's a lot of paths where Vergara wins a decision, and it kind of depends on the rest of the card and scoring. The issue, though, I mean, I can't get too far. He's 7,000. It's hard not to play a guy, or he's 7,200. Sorry. It's hard not to play a guy 7,200 who I think is a coin flip to win the fight. So if you don't agree with it, skip him. Is he a lock play? No, but he's one of my favorite dogs, if not my favorite dog on the card because of the price and the opponent he's facing at 9,000. Just no thank you. I'll move on. I like CJ Vergara, and I'll be interested to see how popular it actually is because people do like to shit on CJ.
That's true.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Kevin Borges. I can't say that name. And Luis Rodriguez. Borges is the dog at plus 135-ish. Comeback on Rodriguez is around minus 150. Actually, it's not Luis. It's Ronaldo Rodriguez. Good old fight odds. Took me a second. It is Ronaldo Rodriguez. Lazy Boy. Solid nickname there as well.
For sure.
Fight goes to decision is minus 150. Your DraftKings salaries for this one. Ronaldo is 8,500. Borges is 7,700. It's their flyweights. I think Lazy Boy is a little bit better. I'm not overly convinced, but I didn't look into it too much because honestly, it's just not one I want a whole lot of exposure to. The fight, what was it again? Fight goes to decision is minus 150. I think there's a little bit of value there. I don't think either guy's really going to want to grapple. I don't see a big score being incredibly likely. I'd rather target, honestly, even the Rodriguez Costa fight. I know we still have to talk about it, but by far the Torres Dober fight, get the main event around, like just with the salaries around here. I don't think I have to target this fight a lot. Flyweights, not big potential for a finish. Close fight anyway. I would lean Lazy Boy Rodriguez, but not by a big margin. I have other spots I like more. Monk, how about for you?
I actually completely agree with that. I like Lazy Boy for the win. But I think Borges is probably
He's fine.
He's fine. Exactly. If I have, I mean, I'll probably play him pretty balanced as far as GPPs go. I'm probably not touching this one in cash though. It's just not gonna do it for me, especially with Lazy Boy 85. He just doesn't score well. He doesn't really do. He's a control time guy, right? So he throws less than 1.8 strikes per minute on average in round ones, 2.8 in the second, and then back.
That is fucking lazy. That is lazy.
Yeah, and then back to 1.5 in the third. There's also 0.3 takedowns, 0.6 in the second, and 0 in the third. So what are we doing? It's control time. He's getting 2 minutes, over 2 minutes in every round. His highest is round 2 at 2.83. He gets strikes landed on him in the first round, 4.5, but that's about it. He drops it to 2, and then he just seals things up, and he's just a control time guy who does not really score well. Like, he scored very well against Dennis Bondar, but that fight was kind of chaotic for two full rounds. And in fact, Bondar I think he was winning at one point for sure. I'd have to go back and watch it before Saturday, but in the Ode Osborne fight, he scored like 70 points, 77.2. So, and he had a ton of control time in that one. I believe it was 9 minutes. Yeah, 9 minutes, 1 takedown. He landed 2 strikes a minute. So if that's going to happen against Borges, that's not going to pay off even 8,500. So Borges likely the higher ceiling. Likely the better value if Lazy Boy doesn't get a finish. Yeah. If he does, then you're probably going to want to play him. But yeah, I'm with you. Limited exposure, and I can look elsewhere for the most part.
Let's move on and let's talk David Martinez, Simon Oliveira. Martinez is minus 360. Oliveira is plus 285. Fight ends at the distance, minus 130. Another 50-50 spot here. DraftKings salaries. Martinez is 9,400. Simon is 6,800. Monk, who you got?
I get to talk about all your favorite fights first. So I probably agree with you, but I just can't get behind Simon Oliveira for a pick. I'm going to take David Martinez, but I think the DraftKings side of things has to be Simon Oliveira. Martinez has 11 wins, 9 of them are by KO TKO. He has no subs. He did shoot a takedown in that first fight, but he did not land it, or in his Dana White Contender Series fight rather. If he's just a striker only, which is exactly what he showed, literally 0 control time in 15 minutes. How do you not get even 1 second of control time? I don't understand that, but that's what he did. No takedowns. Striking only does not score well historically for DraftKings, like ever. Unless you get a basically first round knockout, it's first round or bust. So if you're not going to do that to Simon Oliveira, and he's fought Daniel Marcos, extremely good striker, finished him in the second.
That's Daniel Marcos is no fucking.
All right, I shouldn't have said extreme. I should have said primary striker. That's what
I meant. No. Daniel Marcos is no joke. Like this is Daniel Marcos's record. Like Marcos is good.
No, that's what I mean. And it took him 7. Yeah, that's what I mean. It took him 7 minutes to finish Oliveira. So I don't think Martinez is going to get it done any quicker than that. Gravely absolutely dominated him as well, but that guy, primary wrestler and extremely good. So Oliveira's had 2 very good fighters to go up against. I don't know who he pissed off at the UFC, but those 2 guys fighting your first UFC fights is ridiculous. So I want to pick Oliveira. I will have much more of him in DraftKings than the unproven David Martinez, but I just can't do it. I'm going to pick Martinez. I hate myself, but I'm rooting for Oliveira.
I can pick David Martinez. Fuck it. Look, I Dana White Contender Series debutant, primary striker.
Yep.
Borderline can crusher. I'm not paying this price, and I'll go 1 step further. Look, Simon Oliveira, he looked great. No, but Gravely got control. Daniel Marcos is a problem for anybody in this division.
Yep.
He's been in the UFC I know he's only fought once a year, a little concerning, but more time you got to think, full-time training, like got to be improving. It's a tough transition, by the way, to go from Gravely 11 takedowns.
Yes.
And you think, okay, I'm going to defend takedowns. I'm going to get better at that. And then they throw Daniel Marcos at you. That's what I mean.
It's crazy. And wasn't everybody talking up Jose Alday in the DWCS fight?
That was a few years ago. I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
Maybe he had 2 of them. I don't remember either.
I don't remember.
But yeah.
Close split decision fight where Simon got a few takedowns. So he'll be able to mix it in. Look, I think he's probably more well-rounded. Any other at these odds, I'll take the shot in Simon Oliveira. And even if you like Martinez, I would caution you for DFS because you need that early knockout or you're in trouble.
Yep.
So I'm going to take a stab on Simon. Am I as confident in my CJ Vergara pick? Probably not, even though they're both big dogs in terms of dog plays. None of those are my 2 favorite picks. That's because I have more data on the other fight. This one fight, we are lacking a little bit of data and high enough level experience or tape, especially on the Martinez side. All right, let's move on over to Raul Rosas Jr. and Vince Morales. Rosas is minus 400. Morales is plus 330. Fight ends inside. Oh, sorry. Fight goes to decisions actually favored. Minus 150. I would have thought Rosas by sub would have gotten a little bit more love, but I get it. Morales is a tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
DraftKings salaries. Rosas is 9,200. Vince Morales is 7,000. All I can say is the UFC know how to build a star. They saw what happened with Rosas. They're bringing this kid back to Mexico. They gave him, actually, I should go Rosas here. He lost the Christian Rodriguez fight. All right, let's give him Terrence Mitchell. I can't believe that guy's still kicking around. Good for him, though. Then let's give him Ricky Tercios, who can't stop a takedown, and then a Richie Lang is that's a slight level step up. And now we're going to give him Vincent Morales, who has 60% takedown defense, has lost 4 straight fights.
Yeah.
Jonathan Martinez took him down twice. That's something.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually improvement because Elijah Smith's a wrestler and he got a couple. This is actually, you shouldn't be like, yeah, well, look what Elijah Smith did to him. Vince Morales actually looked okay in that fight. There was a couple sweeps, 2 takedowns. Like he seemed to be improving. That being said, though, Rosas is a better grappler than all of those guys, especially jiu-jitsu included, like all around grappler. He's more dangerous. They're building a star in Mexico. I don't think that Vince Morales is going to be able to do what Christian Rodriguez did. He hasn't won since beat Luis Smolka in 2021.
Yeah, look at his wins. Draco. Whew. I mean, Aben Zahabi aged well. He didn't get KO'd by Song
2019.
Yadong, but other than that.
So it's a little rough here. It's a good matchup. UFC, you're building a star. Give me Rosas, plenty of upside, plenty of points here. Takedowns, control time, submission alive. You have to play a bunch of Rosas. I will say, if you have any doubt, Rosas is going to be very chalky. So if you want to get away from that and try to do something sneaky to win a GPP, I don't think it's the worst play in the world. I don't agree with it, but I get the logic of I don't think Rosas is going to put up a big number. I think Morales is tough enough to at least keep it on the feet, avoid a big number from Rosas. If you think that's the case, I can get behind you doing something tricky here. I don't agree with that logic, but that's how you have to think about things in terms of winning a GPP. Like, where can I get different than the field? To me, this is chalk I'm probably going to eat. And I've given out, I think, a couple of different spots in Vergara, and probably Simon Oliveira will be my different spots. So,
yeah.
Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, you could just pivot to old Jamal Emmers there. That's what I would do if you're trying to get crazy. Hey, man, if he doesn't get subbed in the first, that could be interesting. But I agree. Rosas Jr.
Stop with Jamal Emmers.
Rosas Jr.
Just play Joe Pyfer.
Oh, God.
See, that's the reaction I'm expecting from people. That could be a different spot.
425. Oh, my God. We'll get into it in a minute. Yeah, Rosas Jr., it's going to be him no matter what. 2 takedowns on average in the first round, and then it drops off pretty significantly. But the control time doesn't. He's had 23 minutes in the first round. He controls an average of 3.75 out of 5. That's wild. 1.9 in the second, and almost 3 minutes controlled in the third. So if he's finishing or if he's not finishing, since Vincent Morales, like you said, I believe, is very durable, has only been subbed once in the UFC, twice as a pro. But it's been a ton of decisions. I think all 4 of his last 4 losses have gone to decision. Chris Gutierrez knocked him out, or finished him rather, by KO TKO. And like I said, Song Yadong didn't even do it. And he's got tons of power, very good striker. That was back in 2018, so he's probably 22, or he could have been 30 at the time. Nobody really knows how old Song Yadong is. But give me
Raul. Never will.
Nope. Give me Raul Rosas Jr. here. I was trying to figure out if Vince Morales could be a good punt pick, but he's tough as hell and durable, and those are his 2 probable best qualities, and you don't score points for getting punched in the face. So give me Rosas. You might see some reversals if he gets reversed, because as you said, Vince is doing that in his last fight. But yeah, I like Rosas here.
I just think of the movie Wish every time I hear Rosas.
Yeah.
It's a product of having a young child. Sorry, guys. All right, let's move on to beat Joe Pyfer. Body bags. Listen, is he a terrible human being? Yeah.
Signs point to yes.
I'm not gonna. Well, I say this every time. I don't want to dive into in the pod. I don't have the energy to go through like I do my Chris Curtis rants. But beat Joe Pyfer, Kelvin Gastelum. Joe Pyfer is minus 320-ish. Kelvin Gastelum plus 260. Fight ends inside the distance. Slightly favored at minus 130. Your DraftKings salaries. Pyfer is 9,300. Gastelum is 6,900. Monk, take it away.
When I was recording this for my show, I was recording it Sunday. I was putting the odds in about Sunday afternoon. Joe Pyfer was minus 425, and I almost shit myself. When I looked later, because I recorded the entire fight muted, so of course I had to re-record. He was all the way down to minus 275. As of this morning, I think he was minus 300. But a ton of money came in on Kelvin Gastelum on that opening line. Why is Joe Pyfer such a giant favorite? Like, did something happen to Kelvin Gastelum? Like, I know he's never been the best, but he's extremely consistent. He is very hittable, but he doesn't get finished. He's never been knocked out, ever. So outside of a club and sub, because he does get knocked down, outside of a club and sub, how is Joe Pyfer winning this fight? We all saw the Jack Hermanson fight. We all saw he didn't do a fucking thing after like 6 or 7 minutes, and then Jack Hermanson had the easiest fight of his life for the next 17 minutes. So I don't get this at all. It really doesn't make sense. The only wins he has are terrible, god-awful opponents. Marc-Andre Barrios, probably the best one. Then it's Razak Al-Hassan, Gerald Mearshart, Alan Amadovsky. I mean, he
How
lost
dare you? How dare you with GM3?
Dude, come on.
And Al Hassan's a
that's
dangerous.
a terrible matchup for
This
him.
is a dangerous guy too, for what it's worth.
He's dangerous, but
Amadovsky and Diaz, yeah,
and he loses to Dustin Stoltzfus. He gets KO'd by Dustin Stoltzfus in the very first round. So Kelvin Gastelum has fought the best of the best. I mean, for years. He's not old. He's not even fight old. He's not washed. I don't get this at all, and I will be
he's fight old.
Formats.
He's fight old to come on his with 30 pro fights.
I mean, he didn't look. He landed 7.5 strikes a minute against the striker Daniel Rodriguez while eating 8.5, and he still won very decisively. He lands takedowns when he needs to. He beat your favorite fighter, Chris Curtis, landed a takedown against Robert Whitaker. The only other time he's been knocked out.
He did headbutt the shit out of Chris Curtis in round 2, by the way.
So
that was bad.
That should be points. I mean, he did. The only other time he's been knocked down other than Izzy in his last 10 is Jared Cannonier, and the guy hits like a fucking truck. So his record's not the best in his last 10, but I don't think he's washed at all, and I don't get this line. What happens in the 7th minute of this fight when Kelvin Gastelum does not get knocked out in the first round? What the fuck? Piper doesn't have to go 25 minutes, but can he even go 15? I don't think so.
I think Piper can wrestle in this case. I mean, Gastelum's got 60% takedown defense.
He hasn't shown it.
Piper, by the way, Piper's also going to be much larger. That is part of this. Gastelum I know he challenged for the title at 185. I know that. He's always has been a 170er who likes tacos. Always has been, always will be. Like, Johnny Hendricks is not, you can't be Johnny Hendricks in 2025. You can't do it. So Piper's going to be 5-6 inches bigger, thicker, stronger. I think he can grapple. Point taken with the durability of Gastelum and just overall fight cardio. I do think that favors Gastelum. I'm not even saying I'm going to go all in on Piper. I was just, earlier was, I think I probably like Piper a little bit more than Jamal Emmers personally, but that's just personal preference. Mm-hmm. Also because I think more people are going to play Jamal Emmers because of the inside the distance number, but we'll see. I think Piper, unless I don't trust Piper enough for cash games either. Kelvin is experienced. I will play him in GPP, just like I said. It's kind of an even weight. Honestly, this is one I'm probably going to look at exposures and kind of maybe vanilla up. It might be a little bit over on Piper and a little bit over on both guys. Because they're so cheap. Kelvin could be a little bit harder for me because I like Simon Oliveira straight up, and he's $100 cheaper, so it could be a little bit harder of a sell. Also, I do think he's a little bit fight old, so maybe I'll go a little over Piper, a little under Kelvin. I'll just start dicking around as I build. In terms of a fight pick, I think I am going to side with Piper for the strength and grappling here. But that's it. It's not like a super strong take. Monk, sorry, I think I jumped in midway. You got anything else before we move on to the next fight?
No, you're good. I was just going to say Gastelum's record in the UFC is 13-9. Not great. His 3-round middleweight record, 7-2. And some of those were very recent, like D-Rod, like Chris Curtis. So he's still doing it at middleweight against some of these.
Imagine if he could get himself to
wings and tacos and tortas, man. Too good. They're too good.
Could use some wings. All right, Manuel Torres, Drew Dober. Pick 'em fight. Torres -113. Dober -107. Fight ends inside the distance, -700. Under 1.5 rounds, -185. I smell violence. DraftKings salaries. Torres is 8,200. Dober's 8,000. I get to go first here at these salaries, at those numbers. This is a lock and load, all in GPP fight. It needs to be in every single one of your lineups, or you're doing things wrong. Unless you're going full game theory, and then just good luck to you. I don't agree, but anything can happen in this crazy ass sport. Eileen Torres, I think he's at this point of his career, especially more durable. I I accidentally went in a little bit in the echo. I already had my fight picks done, thankfully, but I saw some stuff on Twitter where somebody was like, people are acting like Drew Dober has got a chin. And my immediate reaction was, I agree with the person who questions that because he had a chin 5 years ago. It's been cracked. It's been hit. Yeah, he's got a big old head. He's been hit a lot. He's in wars. I would always tell Geek, I made plenty of money on Drew Dober because Drew Dober would get undervalued. I'd be on Dober, get a big win. Actually, I can probably pinpoint the fight here because it happened quite a few times where I would clean up on Drew Dober. What was the big one here? Was it King Green? God, he fights so damn often. Oh, no. It was Nasrat Haqparast. This is the one where I think I'm pretty sure 2020. I won a GPP on this card. Yeah, this was the McGregor Cowboy card. I remember this. I'm pretty sure I took this one down. But regardless, things, I mean.
That was the nicest Conor McGregor's ever been in his life, was that night.
So, look, Drew Dober, he been knocked out by Frivola. A little weird fight against Moicano, but Moicano just had to take him down, path of least resistance. Fun-ass fight against John Silva. Not a ton of volume, but these guys are going to throw down. Manuel Torres is going to make this war, beat Chris Duncan. Fun fight with Ignacio Bahamondes. I know it only lasted 1 round. Great fight. Aging well. Bahamondes looks great. Look, they're going to stand and trade till one man falls. I'm going to lean on Manuel Torres. Could it go the other way? Sure. It's a high variance fight. Load up in GPPs. I'm on the Torres side. I think he's a little better at this point in his career, a little more durable. Also fighting in Mexico, I think definitely favors him. And this is one of those fights where I think that could actually play out in the co-main event. Give me Torres in this GPP special. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, I agree. I hate going against my Omaha guy, Drew Dober, but I see it exactly the same way. Yeah, the last one did end in the first round. That's because every Manuel Torres fight but one has ended in the first round, and he's got 18 fights. The one that went to decision, he did win, but 17 fights have ended inside the first round. Absolutely ridiculous. Play this fight. Drew Dober has 13 total round 1 finishes, 3 of which he lost. So 10 of he won the other 10. So tons of first round finishes. Dober even has 9 finishes in the second. Well, he's been finished twice and he's finished opponents 7 times, but tons of finishes in the first 10 minutes for him, and all finishes in the first 5 for Torres. I don't need to give you all the numbers. 7, what do you want? 7 strikes a minute in the first with almost a full takedown on average and half a minute of control time for Manuel Torres. Fantastic numbers. The last ones I'll give you is the height. He's not fighting 16-foot Ignacio Bahamondes with the what's his name from Street Fighter reach. He'll be 2 inches taller. He'll have 3-inch reach advantage on Drew Dober, and he's a switch stance going against a southpaw, so that southpaw advantage might be taken away there. He's going to be quicker, probably a little bit better all around. So give me Manuel Torres in the first round. I agree. Must play GPP fight. The only 5-star fight I have this week.
See, I got one more, and it is our main event.
I can see that.
Based on the rest of the card, 5 rounds and a salary.
Yep.
That being said, it is Brandon Moreno and Steve Erceg. Moreno's minus 230. Erceg is plus 195. Fight goes to decision is minus 215. DraftKings salaries, Moreno's 8,600 and Erceg is 7,600. Monk, I won't steal any thunder this week. You go first for the main event.
That minus 215 goes to decision number. Usually for DraftKings, you're like, oh man, I don't want to target that, but that is not the case in this fight. Both guys who have scored tremendously well in their 5-round losses. And their opponents have scored even better. So this is a definite cash stack. I'm not saying, it's a definite cash stack for sure.
It's a definite cash stack.
Definite cash stack. I'm still picking Brandon Moreno, and it's because of his defense mixed with the fact that, and I think you said this in your notes too, so I'm probably stealing your thunder a bit. The Steve Erceg got pushed a little too hard, too quick. Flew a little too close to the sun. Little Steve Icarus over here. So I like Moreno. His defense is undeniable. He does get hit. In fact, it increases every round, the volume that he gets hit with, but it correlates perfectly with his strikes that he's landing. In fact, he's getting hit more and more every round, but he's still outlanding his opponents on average in every round. His takedowns are there. His control time is there. And the striking, like I said, goes up while the takedowns go down. So He's getting it done early, making his opponents tired, and then letting his defense and his very, I'm not going to say run of the mill because it is very solid striking, win him the fights at the end. And I think that's what's going to happen here. So give me Moreno by decision. But yeah, I'll be stacking this up. What are our salaries? Like 85?
86 and 76.
86, dude. 86. I've talked about this before. Statistically, for DraftKings, the best salary as far as optimal lineups go. Last week we had Sean Brady. I mean, we didn't need it he scored 160,000 points. Man, talk about easy fights to predict. Holy shit. This week we might see the same thing with Brandon Moreno. Love the salary. I'm playing him in all lineups probably. I mean, it's going to be awesome. So give me Moreno, stack it up in cash, and yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you. Stack it up in cash, just like you said. It's what I wrote. Too hard, too quick for Erceg, and we'll just have it on screen, trying to make more of an effort to use it. Good. Dvorak, Costa, Schnell, enter the UFC. Looks great.
Yeah.
Good trajectory. Needed another fight or two before he gets Alexandre Pantoja.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is flyweight is shallow. You're not going to say no. And then Kai France caught him. Kai France can strike. Erceg needed more urgency to get that fight to the ground.
His volume was very concerning in that fight too.
So, that was the one that was in Australia though, right? That was a wild fight. Or atmosphere, I should say. So regardless, this is still though, this is right in line with the Pantoja France matchups. Like Moreno he's going to work himself back to a rematch with Pantoja. It's going to be hard because he lost to Royval, looked great against Albazi, but this was a split decision loss. Like his only losses in his last 5 are 2 split decisions. He had the 4 fights against Davison. Like he is elite. And he's fighting in Mexico City. I think he can wear out Erceg. There's tons of ways that this goes for Moreno. I'm trying to find reasons to pick Erceg. I can't quite do it. I think happened in the fight game. He's very good, but it's one of those I don't think I can put my money there. If it happens, it happens. I hate the guys. I've had this conversation on X a bunch, like the stone cold lock and guaranteed win. I fucking hate that shit. We're talking high variance sports in general. Like I know it's hyperbole to sell shit, but let's words are important.
Mm-hmm.
I think Erceg wins? No. Am I going to bet on him? No. Could he? Sure. I think there's value in Moreno at minus 230. I think I'm that confident he wins. Like I probably throw him in a couple parlays, but to say anything's a stone cold lock. That's something else that's been bothering. This guy's going around throwing around, who are the locks? Man, you better not be serious. Yeah, I can tell you who I think is going to win, what my opinions are, and it's just this nomenclature and just the words people are throwing around these days. It just makes me crazy.
I know. I hear you.
I've only been doing this for 10 to 15 years now because I'm fucking old.
Yeah, we're the old guys shaking our fists.
I remember when do you remember when it was 5 fighters?
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Like bajillion years ago.
Every 3 months.
Remember when I lost a GPP because strikes and significant strikes were not separated, and Daniel Cormier rabbit punching Derek Lewis a bajillion times was not significant? Remember my stroke that week? That was fun.
Yeah.
I was at that fight. I was looking at my phone at MSG next to Sun Tzu going, I'm going to lose this GPP.
Like, how is this possible?
Because those aren't significant. Let me get the fight metric guy to eat a few of those in a crucifix and tell me how not significant they are, sir. Totally. So anyway, words are important. I know I digress, but I'm all about Moreno. Go ahead and stack it up in cash games, though. That being said, let's go back full screen. Hit the like button. We're not done yet. Don't go anywhere. Got to give you a kill shot, a pick to help you win a GPP. It doesn't have to be a super cheap underdog. Somebody the field is going to overlook or not play enough of. Try and not be, the chalk. Who's going to help you win a GPP this week, Monk? Who is your kill shot?
Well, I am going with a super cheap underdog. You could probably see this coming a mile away, but yeah, I'm not going to steal any of your thunder. I'm going with Kelvin Gastelum. over Joe Pyfer. I do not believe in Joe Pyfer. So yeah, give me Kelvin Gastelum until I'm proven wrong otherwise.
We are living in the 6Ks this week. Of course, I'm going Simon Oliveira. Can Crusher DWCS debutante as a big favorite. I'm gonna pick against it most of the time. So
he's got a belt in his Tapology pick. Come on, man.
Oh God. Let's wait. Let's real quick.
I'm
gonna reshare my screen here for a second. I'll make sure I pick the right thing here. Not show all the porn on my computer. Get canceled. All right, real quick. If we go to David Martinez.
There he is. Look at that goal. Yep, too far.
Too far. I missed it.
He's number like 9 or number 9.
What the fuck is it? Oh, there it is. No, this is Ronaldo.
Well, up one. There you go.
There we go. Jesus.
Look at that belt. He's got a matching no, not David. Simon Oliveira has a belt.
Oh, I was talking about David. I want to look at David's shit here because David, a little better wins than I thought.
Yeah, not bad.
23-9-1, 5-1.
Better than most debutants we've seen lately.
I'll give it that. I take back some of the Can Crusher comment.
Better than Gautier. Since we're here, Gautier fought a guy that was 2-23.
Oh, I love those guys.
That's great.
I want to send him a drink with those guys who are 2-23. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Do you need $300 that bad?
No shit.
Like, is it really that fun for you? But I mean, some people, I'm sure it is. So Anyway, let's go Simon Oliveira. I guess for Monk, I'll say let's go Kelvin Gastelum. I'm gonna peek real quick and make sure I didn't put Joe Pyfer in my primary lineup.
Gastelum and Emmers for all the money.
Ah, fuck. Pyfer's in my temporary hand build.
Oh no.
It really was. This was my last man in decision. Do I go Pyfer or Jamal Emmers?
Oh, that's so easy.
If I lose because of that, I'm gonna fly to fucking Texas and beat the shit out of you. Because I love the rest of my lineup. And that last minute, I'm gonna flip that 6 times and I'll see where ends up.
Exactly.
Suck. So bad. All right, guys. Hit the like button if you didn't already. For Monk, I'm Sniper. We'll see you in the DFS Army Discord. Make sure you join up. Good luck. Helmets up. Let's cash these tickets.